if we really look at it, she wasn't really focusing on what she needed to do, was she? She was too busy second guessing herself. She was not trusting that line that she'd taken. She doesn't have the faith in the swing action either, like the length of the swing. So because she's not focused on performing that shot in that moment, then she's not going to perform the way she wants to. And what focus really is making that decision about what you care about right now. What's most important? Okay, there's two things that are most important right now. You're not too late. You're not behind. You're not invisible. You are rising. Welcome to Ambition Habits. This is the podcast where women rise together. Here, confidence isn't taught, it's remembered. Belonging isn't earned, it's honored. And legacy isn't a someday, it's a rhythm we build now. So take a breath and let's begin. Hey there, Tiff here. Welcome to Ambition Habits. So lovely to have you here today. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is focus and concentration and how they sound very similar, yet they're very different when it comes to sport. And I'm going to explain to you really what that means and how focus is applicable to sport, and then also how concentration is applicable to your sport, and then how you then identify the difference between the two and what to do about them. Okay. So these two words, focus and concentration, they really serve different roles in our performance, in our sports performance. So whatever sport that we're playing is, you know, I often hear, especially when people are playing golf, because I teach a lot of golf, they say, concentrate better. Come on, Tiff, concentrate better. Come on, get that concentration right. Now, when you're, having a go at yourself about that, is it about you concentrating better? Is it about you focusing better? What terminology do you need to use, and how is focus and concentration applicable, and how do we apply it into our sports games? So let's look at focus first. Focus is choosing what matters. That means what's most important to you. And focus is really about, this is what I care about right now. It's about making a decision. And it's really about trusting that decision as well. So I'll give you an example. I'll use golf as the example. And I'll actually use putting as an example because I find a lot of people lose focus and lose trust in their putting. So when someone decides to do a putt, they still doubt themselves. They're really not focusing on the shot that they've got to play. They stand over it and question whether it's the right decision. And so because they then doubt that decision, they don't really trust, their line. They don't really trust the feel of the stroke and so on. And then they just hit it and they go, "Oh, I told you it was going to be bad." But it was about what they were focusing on in that moment. And that's really what focus is about. It's about what you're focusing on in that moment. So what that golfer did was that she stood over the ball, didn't trust the decision in the sense of what the line that she made, doesn't trust the length of the shot because she doesn't trust the length of her putting swing. And therefore she's questioning whether she's made the right decision or not. And then she just plays the shot anyway. And then, ends up with the result that she's not really after. But if we really look at it, she wasn't really focusing on what she needed to do, was she? She was too busy second guessing herself. She was not trusting that line that she'd taken. She doesn't have the faith in the swing action either, like the length of the swing. So because she's not focused on performing that shot in that moment, then she's not going to perform the way she wants to. And what focus really is making that decision about what you care about right now. What's most important? Okay, there's two things that are most important right now when we look at it as a putting stroke: line and the length, right? The distance it needs to travel. Now, if you're not focusing on those two things and your mind's too busy going on about something else, self doubt, not good enough, thinking about other things outside of what you're actually doing anyway, then of course the focus is not there. You're distracted, right? You're not focusing on the task that you need to do in that moment. So that's what we're looking at with regards to focus. And the other thing I really want you to get into your mind is that focus is about the clarity before the shot. Okay, you've got to be very clear on the shot that you're actually going to perform before you perform the shot. When you are clear, that means you are focused, and that means you're going to perform the way that you would really like to perform. So let's have a look at concentration. What does that really mean? Concentration is really about staying with it, right? You're hanging in there. That's how I look at it. You're hanging in there and you just you use that focus as like one shot at a time, right? One movement at a time, staying committed in that moment, right? So then that expands over that whole game or performance, match, tournament, whatever you're playing. But then those little focused moments then move into that overall concentration. And that concentration is really that ability to maintain that focus on those individual shots that you play. And doing that, it's about you not being distracted at all, right? It's not being distracted mentally. It's not being distracted with what's around you. It's not being distracted by what someone else is doing. It's not being distracted by somebody talking. It's not being distracted by poor self talk. It's not being distracted by self doubt, right? So, how we want to look at concentration is really those focused moments, right? So each shot that you play and perform is those little moments that are all being stuck together, right? So we're focused, we're doing our routines, we're performing our shot. Those little moments that are stuck together over time creates that overarching or that big circle of concentration that you need to maintain right throughout your game. So if you're playing a golf round, for example, it's about being able to concentrate, or let's put it this way, being able to put all those little focused shots over that whole period of that golf game. It's about when you're playing tennis, it's about you being so focused in on the ball and playing each shot to where you want to play the shot, right? And then over time, each shot that you're focused is that whole concentration throughout the whole match. You're not being distracted by anything. I've taken up lawn bowls, so that's another great example. Is about stepping on the mat and doing your routine, playing a shot that you want to play, and you're totally focused and tuned into that shot. So that's that focus area. But it's also being able to maintain each shot each time you have to step on the mat and play, so that you've got this overarching area in which you're totally concentrating on what you need to do and what's important. You're not getting distracted about what's beside you. When you play bowls, compared to some other sports, you're not so close to other competitors. But in bowls, you're right next to the people, right? So you're playing in a rink and you've got people left and right of you playing as well, and they're all talking and doing whatever. So it's about you being able to focus in those moments and then keep that concentration right throughout that game. And a great way to look at concentration is that concentration is that muscle that keeps you anchored, even though everything that's around you, it's almost like it's trying to pull your concentration away. It's trying to distract you, and it's being able to stay in. I like to call that concentration bubble, so that all you're doing is you're honing in and you're really focused on what you need to do. Now, when we want to play in our sport, so whatever sport that you're playing, I know I talk about golf a lot because I teach it a lot. Tennis, I teach it a lot, and so on. And I'm playing bowls and what have you. Really, what we want to create here is like a confidence cue. It's very sports specific, and I'm going to give you three things that you can actually focus on. That's just going to help you just settle really and get prepared to play your match, play your tournament, compete in a competition, even going out and playing socially in your sport. Like, I know that, people get all worked up about competition because of the name says competition, or people get worked up about playing a tournament, because it's called a tournament. But how you want to look at it is like, even when you're going out and playing socially, you still want to perform well. It's just that it doesn't have that label, right? So you go and play socially, therefore there's no pressure. You go and play competition, or there's pressure. You go and play in a tournament, or there's pressure. But it's not really pressure from anything. It's just the fact that something's labeled. And it's how we mentally approach it. And I know a lot of people that I teach golf to, and women that come on golf tours with me and so on, they always talk about how they play so much better when they play socially versus when they play competition. And it's really how you mentally frame it. It's the same, really, because you're still going out and you're playing. Competition is just really telling you how you're performing on that day. But if you went in with the attitude of being more relaxed and calm, like you do when you play socially, then there's no reason why you can't do that when you're playing in a competition and a tournament. And that's a huge thing that I make sure that I really work on when I'm competing in my sports, is that I'm cool, calm, and collected is really the focus there. And it's making sure I breathe. It's making sure I've got a cue phrase. It's making sure I'm really aware of what's going on with my body, and my body feels really relaxed. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you a confidence cue in how you can prepare yourself prior to playing your match. Even do it when you play socially as well, because it's the same approach. And how you play socially obviously is how you want to play when you're playing in a competition and a tournament. So let's see if we can get you into that state where you're approaching it the same way. So here's three things that I want you to do for this. So number one is called a breath cue, and it's really about you breathing, because a lot of people get to wherever they need to get and they get a bit flustered, they're a bit panicky and so on. Usually it's because of life, because the lifestyle that we live these days, it's all about rush, 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 going quick, going quick, going quick. But when you actually play specific sports, it's actually about staying slow, going slow, staying in the moment, being focused, which means we've got to slow you down. So a really good thing to do is, like, prior to you actually stepping on the tee, or prior to you stepping on the mat, or prior to you stepping on the court, is really about you doing some breathing. And I'm just going to give you a really, really simple breathing technique to do. It's so simple. So you could do this. You could sit in the car when you arrive to your match or your tournament or your social play, and you could just do something simple like this. So you breathe in for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then breathe out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you breathe in for 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you breathe out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you did that as simple for like a minute, 2 minutes maximum, you'll start to notice that you'll start to settle down. Okay. And it's all about being calmer when you step out of the car, when you step onto the tee, when you step onto the mat, when you step onto the court, when you step onto the field. It's about you feeling calm, in control, and ready to take on what's in front of you. So that's the first one. Number two is an anchor word. Now, I always teach people with regards to a what I call a pre-shot routine in golf is like being prepared. If you've ever watched Nadal, that's a great example. If you've ever watched Nadal play tennis, which I'm sure most of you have, he had specific things that he'd do, even pull his undies out of his butt um, to go through a particular routine to get himself prepared to receive the ball and so on. And he'd have, a specific routine that he'd do prior to him actually serving. So that's all pre-shot routine. That's all about getting you mentally prepared, getting you physically prepared, ready to take on performing your shot. So how we want to look at this is we want to then have an anchor word in that. Now I don't know what Nadal would be saying to himself and what have you, but that was part of his pre-shot routine, doing these specific actions. So when I teach people to play golf, especially when we get into the point of getting them to really concentrate and focus on what they need to be doing, and that big focus in what they need to do in that particular routine in preparing to play the shot. Part of that is actually a cue word or a cue phrase that's actually going to trigger them into doing something, or trusting something or staying calm or whatever that is. So when I was learning to play golf, I was really struggling, and this is when I had been introduced to pre-shot routines, cue phrases, and so on. So when I would go through my process of the routine that I wanted to create prior to me hitting a shot, before I'd actually play the shot, when I was standing over the ball, I'd say, trust your swing. Now, the reason that I would say trust your swing was because I never trusted myself, right? I never trusted the decisions that I made. I never trusted that it would actually work, right? So, what I would do prior to that, before I learnt how to do all of that, I would stand over the ball and go, "Oh, you're not good enough. It's not going to make it. Oh, you're having yourself on. You're never going to get there." All of that kind of mental self-talk, which was not very good, right? It was pretty poor. So me expecting to be able to play well when I'm, feeding my brain with that, or worrying about some other things that were going on in my life at that time, was not conducive to me actually playing a good shot. You can hear that in the self-talk. But if we then go, okay, like when I'm about to perform my shot, what am I going to say to myself? How am I going to, what language am I going to use that's going to be more beneficial for me to help me focus, or to help me stay relaxed, or to help me stay calm? What is it that I need to say to myself? Now, this is a very individual thing. Like I said to you, I would say, trust my swing. Now, I can give you some other examples that you could use, and then you can go and figure something out for yourself, like what would work for you. So, let's have a look at some other things that you could say to yourself. So, a good anchor word could be stay steady, or anchor words, phrase: stay steady, be steady, take your time, just breathe, let's rise, let's go. You come up with something. So after you've listened to this episode and you've come up with a cue phrase or a cue word, I'd really love to hear what your word is or phrase is that's going to help you stay focused, stay in the moment, prepare yourself prior to you playing. Part of your routine, what is it that you say to yourself? I'd be really interested to know that. So make sure, like at the end of this episode, if you've come up with something, let me know what it is. Okay, I'd really like to hear that. Now, the third thing that you could do for this confidence cue is just a body scan, and it's really about being aware. Are you feeling tense and tight, or are you feeling relaxed? So it's being aware of how your feet are feeling, because you want to feel grounded. Of course, you can feel your feet in the ground. You want to feel that your legs are nice and relaxed. You want to feel that your torso, neck, shoulders, arms, hands, they're feeling quite relaxed prior to you actually performing your shot. Because if you're non aware of this is where also that you do struggle because there's tension, right? So we even want to go to the point of like making sure that our face is relaxed, making sure our jaw is relaxed, because this is what we wanting to do, because we want to invite this state of readiness. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm relaxed. I feel calm. I feel in control. And then I'm going to go and perform my shot. I'm going to stay in the moment. I'm going to concentrate right throughout my game, because you're putting these 3 steps in place, getting yourself prepared. You don't want to be flying out of the car because you're running late, and then you're jumping on the tee or the court or the mat or the field, and you're not mentally prepared, right? Because you haven't actually gone through a transition of going from one place to another yet. So a great thing is, like, you want to be stepping from your previous thing that you've done in your life to transition. And this is what this confidence cue is really good for. You're actually transitioning yourself, stepping into that next part of how you're going to perform when you step on the field, right? How you're going to perform when you step on the mat, how you're going to perform when you step on the court, how you're going to perform when you step on the golf course, so that you're prepared, because you've left that behind. You've gone through that transition of getting yourself mentally and physically prepared, and then you're ready to go. And this is this state of readiness that we want to create for ourselves. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to actually look at is like stepping into the zone. And I'm just going to create like a nice little simple guided visualization for you that you can listen to anytime. But it's just about getting yourself mentally prepared, ready to step into how you'd really like to be able to play in your sport. And like I've always talked about, like throughout this episode, and if you've listened to plenty of episodes from me before, it's all about playing from a place of calm, mental calm, right? We need to be mentally calm so that we're in control. We can make clear decisions, and then we can also, big thing, trust our decisions that we make so that we're performing really the way that we want to. And that's a good thing. Okay. That's what we want. So now let's go through this guided visualization, stepping into the zone, and a really simple, easy way for you to do that. So in this process, what I want you to do is close your eyes. You get an opportunity to sit down somewhere. Even if you're standing, just stand still, listen to it, plug it into your ears, your headphones, so that we can go through this guided visualization so that you're actually getting yourself mentally prepared to play your sport today. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself stepping into your sport, not as a beginner, not as someone trying to prove, but as someone who remembers how to perform in this sport, someone who remembers how to perform when you step into your sports arena. You know this space. You've trained for this. You've practiced this. You've done the hours out on the field performing the way that you want to. You've done this with no pressure. You've done this feeling relaxed. You've done this feeling in control. You know what it's like to feel like this. You belong here. See yourself moving with clarity. Feel your breath sinking with your rhythm. Hear your anchor word guiding you through every decision. You are focused. You are concentrated. You are ready. Take a breath. Okay, open your eyes and let's go. So now that you're going to be stepping into a zone and you're getting yourself ready to step into this zone in your sport today, I want you to know that it doesn't have to be perfect. This is your zone. This is your arena. All you need to do is stay focused in the moment, because over those little moments that you do, those little focus moments for every shot that you play, creates that beautiful concentration right throughout your game. And we all have our own little confidence cues, our own little rituals that we do. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just yours. It's unique, and it's unique to you. Your cue words or cue phrase, your cue word, it's unique to you. It doesn't have to be the same as anyone else. Just needs to be what resonates for you. What I'd really like you to do is to use this confidence cue, this preparing yourself for your social play, your matches, your practice, your competitions, your tournaments. Just do it over the next month. Do it over the next 30 days. Just go through that process of that breath. Go through that process of that cue word or cue phrase. Go through that process of actually feeling what your body feels like, so it's feeling calm, relaxed, and ready. And let's see how you go and how you perform throughout these next 30 days when you're performing in your sport, whether it's socially, whether it's practice, whether it's competing in a tournament, whether it's playing the local competition that you play. Let's see how you approach things when you've prepared yourself physically and mentally. Let's see how you go over these next 30 days. So I'm going to leave you these two things to think about. Focused isn't forced. Focused is chosen. You choose to be focused. And concentration isn't rigid. Concentration is remembered. It's remembering each focused moment that you've done prior to each shot that you've played. You've remembered that process that you've had to go through to create that shot, to create that skill, to hit that ball, to roll that ball, to kick that ball. It's a process. So all you're doing is you're staying in the moment, you're staying focused in the moment, you're focusing on one thing at a time. And then what you're doing is each one thing at a time builds, and that creates that concentration. And then you'll come off after you've played your sport and you'll feel like, wow, gee, I felt like I was in more control today. Wow, gee, that felt great. Because it's all about feeling great. It's all about feeling good when you come off after you've played your sport. And that's always my intention when I play my sport, is that I want to come off and feel that I've focused well, that I've stayed calm, that I've been relaxed within my body, and I've let myself go through my process and made things happen the way that I've wanted to, because I've stayed in that moment. And that's all you need to do. It's really, really simple. But I would really love it if you could share with me from today's episode what you like best about what you heard today, what you're going to do over the next 30 days. I'd love to hear that as well. And remember, us as women, we have to rise together. We're a team. And I want you to dream big, believe in you, go after your dreams, and love to hear from you. Take care. Talk soon. Bye for now. See you later.